Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today for the Lytham Partners Spring 2024 Investor Conference. My name is Joe Dorame, Managing Partner of Lytham Partners. I would like to welcome Scientific Industries, Inc., ticker symbol is SCND on the OTC. Presenting from the company today are John Moore, Chairman, and Helena Santos, Chief Executive Officer. As a reminder, management will be available for one-on-one virtual meetings. If you'd like to sign up, please visit lythampartners.com/spring 2024 and click the investor and attendee registration button. Now I'd like to turn the presentation over to John Moore, Chairman of Scientific Industries. John?
Thank you, Joe. So, Scientific Industries is digitally simplifying life sciences. We're a life science tool company, and what we're doing is we're taking traditionally analog, manual processes, and we're solving the pain point that our customers have of high labor costs and lack of ability to be able to transition to the new AI economy. And what we're doing is we're automating those tasks and we're digitizing that analog data. So we think this is a very exciting investor opportunity, and I'd like to share with you more about the company. This is our disclaimer and a little bit of a deeper dive into what we do. So we're a life science tool company. We're unusual in the sense that we have a legacy business which goes back 70 years. We're in virtually every life science lab in the world. We sold millions of our mixers from our legacy business, and we have two components of growth. One of those components is within the legacy business. The other one is a new business called scientific bioprocessing. So what do? We sell desktop laboratory equipment to everybody from the smallest startup to the largest biotech company. We feel like we're at a tremendous inflection point for investors because we've invested $30 million in a new platform that's approximately 2x our current market capitalization. We've developed a new technology that's ready for commercialization. I'm really excited to talk to you about that today. We work in the $2 billion bioprocessing industry. It's a very fast-growing industry, sports very high multiples, very high margins. And we got into this business because in 2011, our CEO, Helena Santos, licensed intellectual property to make a novel fluorescent, tiny little sensors that we licensed to Sartorius. We earned $9 million in gross royalties. Sartorius sold billions of dollars worth of equipment using our technology. But when those licenses expired, we had decided we needed to have an alternative growth strategy for the company. So what we did was we targeted this. We bought a company in Germany called Aquila Biolabs, and we developed a product targeting the market that was already proven by Sartorius using our technology, but at 10% of the cost of that competing technology. We're now getting ready to take that. We are taking that product to market now, and these devices are edge devices in the artificial intelligence and synthetic biology revolution. By the way, synthetic biology means taking products that traditionally have been made using oil and petroleum-based products and making them out of microbes or yeasts or different organic organisms. And that has incredible benefits as far as the sustainability of the economy. So our technology, our components, scientific bioprocessing are already being used by more than 450 customers. And we just started launching and shipping this product in April of 2024, this new product called the DOTS platform. Helena and I are big believers that a great board of directors is a tribute to the power of a company's ideas. And so our board of directors is absolutely, it's a world-class board. So we have John Nichols, who's the chairman of our scientific bioprocessing business, and he's a director. He's the former president and CEO of Codexis. He grew that company from $100 million of market cap to over $2 billion. And John really represents the voice of the customer who really understands the power of this DOTS platform that we've developed. Chris Cox is the former chief commercial officer of the medicines company, which was sold for $9.7 billion to Novartis. Dr. Jürgen Schumacher is the co-founder of QIAGEN, which is an $11.5 billion German, well, it's really an international life science tool company. And then Michael Bleckman, who is a former CEO of a bioreactor manufacturer that was just sold to a private equity firm. So absolutely world-class board of directors, and we've got a terrific management team. So a little deeper dive into our different components. So we have a stable and profitable business of our two legacy product lines, the Vortex Genie Mixer, which is in virtually every life science lab in the world, and the Torbal pill counting business, which was acquired in 2014. And we've totally invested to renovate that product line, and it's now a growth engine for the company. The combined revenue of those two companies is about $9.3 million. And then our fast growing opportunity is scientific bioprocessing, where we're digitally simplifying bioprocessing. And we did about $1.5 million of revenue last year. We have about 10 million shares outstanding, and we have our headquarters is in Bohemia, New York. So a little bit of a deeper dive into the Genie products. So the Genie products are sold through over 170 distributors around the world. Over 70 years, we've got a massive installed base of instruments, and we sell through the biggest life science catalogs in the world, Fisher Scientific, VWR. And you can see the revenues from the combined Genie and Torbal business have been stable over the last 4 years, generating cash flow and earnings. Torbal is our pill counting business. And I mentioned we bought this, Helena bought this in 2014, and the acquisition paid for itself in 4 years, but we also invested to update the technology and develop a recurring revenue subscription-based system that has a novel automated pill counting system, which relieves a major pain point in pharmacies, which is the shortage of workers in the pharmacy. This is a very fast-growing part of our business. In the fourth quarter of 2023, it grew 37%. And there's new legislation that the FDA has brought in for track and trace, which is further driving the growth of this product. And we just are introducing the workstation, which is the third and final piece of hardware in this product line. So we're targeting the 88,000 pharmacies that exist in the United States, the retail pharmacies, and there's a major pain point and a very fast return on investment from them adopting these products. One of the nice things about Torbal is that it's required by law that every pharmacy has a pharmacy scale, and because our business, Torbal, is over 100 years old, we have 70% of the installed market share of all scales in pharmacies. So our brand is incredibly well known to our target market. So the next slide talks about the projected growth of our business. You can see we have the base business in gray, which is currently doing $9.3 million of revenue. And we have the scientific bioprocessing business, which is doing $1.5 million in revenue, but which is projected to grow very quickly over the next several years to do $2.5 million of revenue this year, $4.5 million of revenue next year. And we believe we're going to achieve cash positive position by the end of 2025. Now, one of the things that's really attractive about a business like ours, our largest shareholder is also the largest shareholder of Repligen. He sold his business for 10 times revenue. That's 10 to 20 times revenue is sort of normal for businesses like in the bioprocessing business. So we believe that we're going to create tremendous shareholder value going forward for the company. So Daniel Grunes is the president and CEO of Scientific Bioprocessing. It's based in Germany. And essentially what we're doing is we're taking the world's most common bioreactor. There's 14 million shake flask experiments done in the United States every year. But they're simple, they're small, they're inexpensive, but you don't get any data out of it from doing these experiments. You're only able to manually sample these devices. And then the other side is you've got these extremely complex and expensive bioreactors. These can cost $250,000 or more. And so what we've done is we've said, we believe that we can combine in one simple device the simplicity, the low cost and the convenience of shake flask experiments with the sensing, monitoring, and control of a bioreactor. But we're going to do it at a fraction of the cost of a bioreactor. And we believe that we can transform the way science is done in life sciences as a result of this. So this is not a new script to the U.S. economy. The same thing happened with the smartphone, where Apple combined the simplicity, size, and price of a cell phone with the functionality of other devices. And Steve Jobs said, the biggest innovation of the 21st century is going to be this intersection of biology, technology, and engineering, beginning of a new era. And we essentially have developed essentially the smartphone of this synthetic biology convergence between synthetic biology and artificial intelligence. So what do we do when you're making a synthetic biology product? You scale up from simple, cheap raw materials, use weld plates, shake flask, mini fermenters, benchtop reactors, and production fermenters. The problem today is that because you can't monitor or control shake flasks, there's no technology. The cost per experiment is almost irrelevant, and you have these expensive systems. So what we've done is we've said, well, we can enable our customers to be able to do an experiment for around $150, what normally costs $1,000 to $2,000 per experiment, and do it with high school technicians, essentially. So we're breaking the barriers of more experiments that can now deliver digitalized, structured data to power artificial intelligence experiments. So the system consists of a multi-parameter reader that can measure biomass, temperature, pressure, and fluorescence, a feeding system which can actually deliver control, so you can actually control the addition of liquids into the experiment, very simple, easy to use software, and single use simple use pill for monitoring dissolved oxygen. This pill has a 90% gross margin and is a single use. You only use it once per experiment. So you can see we've got a great razor blade story going here. And so the pill goes around in the liquid and is monitored by the multi-parameter sensor down below. So if you look at the return on investment on these systems, Bond Pet Foods did a case study where with our legacy technology, which just does biomass monitoring, and they showed that a $54,000 investment saved them $28,000 per year in experiments plus materials, and the investment paid off in less than 9 months. So we've developed a new platform, which we launched 2 weeks ago, and this is the result of $30 million of investment. All the prototype user studies said it's super easy to use. It's showing insights that they've never seen before at a scale they've never seen before. We're doing 40 trade shows this year. We've done 18 so far. We have 248 leads for the product 2 weeks after the launch. And we're extremely optimistic about the future of this product and the sales inflection point and the profitability inflection point that we're going to realize as a result of that. So what is the company? What's the background of the company? We have 34 team members at Scientific Bioprocessing. We spent 8 years studying this market application. We've invested the $30 million in R&D. We've got a very deep economic moat with 10 patents, over 80 publications on our legacy products. We have 10 new products that are part of this platform. We have over 450 customers, many of them that are mentioned in the background of the slide. And we have a worldwide customer base, 20 distributors, and we're attending 40 conferences. And then when we're selling these products direct, but eventually we'll be able to avail ourselves to the terrific distribution system that our parent company, Scientific Industries, has in the catalogs. So with that, I'll hand the presentation over to Helena Santos.
Thank you, John. So just a little bit of a deep dive into our financials. Historically, the company has had a very nice, clean balance sheet, zero debt, as you see there. As of the end of March, which was our last reporting period, we had on hand cash and cash equivalents of just under 5 million, enabling us to put into play our strategies for growth, particularly with the bioprocessing business. The number of shares that we had outstanding, all common stock, are just over 10 million, 10.5 million. And in addition to that, we have about another 9 million in total of equivalents, comprising of about 1 million in options to our management and key employees. And in addition to that, 8 million warrants that we've issued over the last few years as part of our equity raises for our bioprocessing business.
Helena and John, thank you very much for the overview. Let's expand a bit on a few topics since we've got a little extra time here. Can you help us understand what you're seeing in customer behavior in the bioprocessing segment, specifically with customer growth?
So our customers are seeing a tighter capital market, and therefore they're being instructed to do more with less. And therefore, in the past, they would have looked at spending $1 million on a system like that delivers the type of benefits that we're talking about. Now we're talking about selling systems where, let's say, a budget is more like $100,000. So that's really attractive to a lot of our customers and potential customers.
Great. Any insight you can provide us with customer types like pharma and CDMOs that are purchasing the DOT system and also that are kind of filling your pipeline?
So our first couple of customers who bought the product sight unseen were, the world's largest pharmaceutical company with the largest research and development budget, and the world's largest yeast production company, and a very prestigious protein and strain design company. So we're seeing a really voracious appetite on the part of our customers for this new type of sensing, and particularly at this price point that we're bringing it out at. So it's really, really exciting to see sort of the smartest customers moving first and buying these systems.
Wow, that's really intriguing. So, you said sight unseen. Why are these customers buying your product?
A lot of times what happened is that they had used our biomass monitoring, and we'd been hearing for 8 years, well, if you just added dissolved oxygen-based monitoring, then we'd want to buy a lot more of these systems. And so we had sort of primed the market for those products. They're having a lot of success with our legacy products. And so, we're a trusted brand, and they need this functionality for monitoring and control of their systems.
Very good. Last question on the bioprocessing front. How do you see the competitive dynamic shifting within bioprocessing?
So the nice thing about these products that we've developed is we don't really have any competition. Unless you consider, okay, well, am I going to spend $1 million on a Sartorius Amber system? At $100,000, there's nobody who's delivering this value that we're offering. So we're really opening up the other 95% of the market that can't afford the Amber system. So I think we're kind of alone. So if there's any challenge for the growth of our business, it's really just the status quo, just being able to raise awareness of people that they can now do monitoring in shake flasks and control, which they've never been able to do before. And then the other one is that you don't have to spend $1 million to get the functionality that we're able to deliver. So that's really our challenge. But going to 40 trade shows, plus you can see we've generated 248 leads in the last several months. So that's a lot of interest. It's almost a challenge to triage all the interest we have in these products.
Well, that's a great problem to have. All right, shifting to the benchtop business. Helena, when do you plan on launching your Torbella workstation, and do you expect revenue this fiscal year from that launch?
Thank you, Joe. So we're really excited about the prospects of the workstation. As we speak, it is making its debut at a trade show. And thus far, the reaction has been so good that as of yesterday, we have been asked for pricing, which is always a great sign. Asking for how much and when can you ship is always a great indication that you have something that your customers want. We expect to launch it towards the end of this year, early winter. And what we're expecting in terms of revenues this year, I would probably say from 50 to 100,000 this year. I think next year is going to be, a really major breakthrough in terms of revenues for the workstation. But that's where we're at. We're that.
That's great. Moving to gross margins, with the recent operational efficiency program in place, what kind of margin improvements can we expect for the rest of the year?
So let me answer that in two parts. Okay. One is that the operational efficiency programs and cost reductions that we put in place as of the beginning of this quarter that we're in are really across the company, not only in the gross margin areas, but also across G&A and selling, R&D, wherever it made sense. We didn't just do this without first looking at what made sense to us. But yeah, there will be some improvement in the gross margins as a result of that. And in addition to that, and most importantly, will be things like the fact that our revenues from the bioprocessing are expected to grow. And the margins that we expect from there, as John indicated, particularly when it comes to the sensor pills, our new DO sensor pills, we get really good margins on those. So we do expect some improvement thereof.
That's great. And can you talk a little bit about your priorities for capital allocation?
So in terms of capital allocation, I think it's really twofold. One is our continued product development, because we have a very robust product pipeline that we want to complete. And next is obviously commercialization of our new products. So in terms of sales and marketing efforts, we're really concentrating heavily on marketing our new bioprocessing products and going to all of these conferences and exhibitions, as John mentioned, and other marketing activities to augment that.
Very good. Last question. Looking forward, what are the key milestones investors should be looking for in 2024?
So I think in terms of important milestones, and obviously there are others, but I'll just, I think, touch upon what I believe to be the most important ones. Obviously, the first one that we talked about is the launch of the new MPS and the DO sensor pills, because that is the first step in a long line of DOTS platform products that we expect to launch in the future. And that also then puts us in a position where now our revenues from bioprocessing are expected to take off, particularly in the last half of the year, because of the sales cycle. As John mentioned, we've already gone to a number of exhibitions and trade shows, and we have plans to attend, much more during the last half of the year. But usually the sales cycle on products like these is at least 3 to 6 months, sometimes even longer. So if you take that in consideration, we really expect our revenues from the new products to start showing in our results in the last half of the year, which is different from what we've seen before, which is revenues generated basically from the products that existed at our bioprocessing Aquila company over in Germany. other milestones would be, like I say, a broader footprint in the market by bioprocessing, just due to the expanded list of exhibitions that we're going to and all the other marketing efforts that we're doing. The launch of the workstation, as you mentioned before and you asked about. And then lastly, also, we touched upon this, is one of the milestones that we're looking towards is the improved bottom line of our company due to the operational efficiency measures and everything else that we're doing to achieve that as well.
That's great. Helena and John, thank you very much for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Again, if you'd like to sign up for a one-on-one meeting, please visit lythampartners.com/spring 2024 and click the investor and attendee registration button. We wish you all a good day and enjoy the conference.